What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Just got done with my midday workout, my Monday through Friday workout, right after the Millionaire Morning Show. Head to the gym, spent about an hour. You don't need much more than that. And then head back to the studio and get back to the grind. But big news this week outside of Cat Williams. Make sure y'all tune into the Q show tonight because it's going to be awesome. Big news this week is Jonathan Majors interview. Now, I watched part one of the Jonathan Majors interview that dropped earlier this morning. And it's kind of hilarious to me because most of this that he's going through, we already predicted. We predicted most of what he's already saying, and so he's just basically confirming what a lot of men already knew. And it's that men are held accountable regardless of what we look like, whether you a man or a woman. Both women or women in general, they keep talking about this equal. It's never going to be equal. If anything, it's systemic. Because I know that black people like to talk about, you know, what's happening inside of reparations and the system and all of that. I don't believe it. I don't subject myself to it. Two things I've been my whole life: a man and black, as far as how you want to define race as a construct within America. I've been both my whole life. And the only thing that's ever prevented me or scared me was not being black, but it's about being a man. And what I'm saying that, or why I'm saying that, is because we've seen too many current examples. Now, if you want to talk about yesteryear, if you want to talk about Martin Luther King and them and everybody that came before us and race and all of that and slavery, yeah, okay, I get it. How much longer are we going to ride that wave that none of us actually experience today? Very, very rarely do you actually experience anybody that's preventing you from being successful based off of your race. I'm just gonna keep it real. I don't really care about what people think. I'm focused on the truth. I'm not focused on how people feel. And very few times do you see people are prevented from being successful based off of race. It just doesn't happen anymore. Our ancestors did the work. They were successful in what they were trying to accomplish. Largely, we didn't. And I'm talking about as a whole, not as an individual, because I can't use my own personal lifestyle experience. I vote, right? I vote because I understand that there's people that died before me that gave me the opportunity to vote. I take advantage of all of the opportunities that's in front of me. But it's a lot of us that don't even do that. And so we'll complain about what's happening around us, but we're not actually examples, or we don't capitalize off of what the people that died before us. We should be ashamed for how we are, how we act, what our cultural norms are, because it would basically mean that the people that came before us died for nothing. On the reverse side, though, it's completely different, because it's not that being a man is preventing you from being successful. Being a man, considering that women advocated for equal, but then at the same time still have privilege of being a woman, means that all you need is an accusation, and then you can lose everything. I mean, you can lose your job, and it doesn't matter whether you're a black man, a white man, all of that. I've seen both publicly and privately guys get fired, lose their job, lose opportunities, and ruin their reputation. Stuff they work for their entire life, and then it's gone in an instant just based off of an accusation. And now we got the technology to prove that it's wrong, and you still being held accountable. And that's largely what Jonathan Majors is going through right now. He had that conversation and he said that he was scared and surprised. Two words that really stuck out to me. He said he was scared and surprised. Despite the evidence, despite him running away, despite the fact that she was partying and having a good time even afterwards. And he lost everything. He lost Kang. He lost his Hollywood status. He was the it guy. And it only took one woman and an accusation. And think about how heartless you got to be. Think about how heartless you got to be to ruin a guy's entire life. He worked his entire life You met him allegedly on a set of Ant-Man and the Wasp, meaning that he was already there, and all it took was one accusation from you to remove everything that he's ever worked on and everything that he's ever done in his entire life. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane to me. And so now, when you see women, or when I see women, you know, because recently I think as of the recording of this video, I think I've crossed like 50,000 people on Instagram. Shout out to all my people that's following me on Instagram. Make sure you follow me on all of my platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. That's in the description. As well as tap in tonight, and then after hours on YouTube. I do that on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays. When I see women react to the videos where I tell guys to make sure that they protect themselves, and then we hold women accountable, they say, who hurt you? You know the usual. Who hurt you? You must be gay. Have you ever been married before? Even though I've been married for over 20 years. And they say that, oh, Anton, you're going to force these guys to be alone and by themselves. Bull. I'm making sure that guys are protected. And as long as we continue to have these laws and these family court laws and this bias in the court system and Me Too movement and the Adult Survivors Act, where it doesn't matter whether or not they filed a report or they're not actually looking for anything as far as, you know, criminal or anything like that. They never said nothing. They benefited from it, but then they came back later. And all you need is an accusation in order to get yourself a payout. And then you got the whatever is happening in LA that's similar to the Adult Survivors Act in New York, 2,500 accusations. And then here's the worst part about it. You get killed in the court of public opinion, meaning that mob then rules. And you got so many simps and so many women that lean into it and they'll automatically say you guilty. Let me tell you why I don't care about everything that's going on with TD Jakes, right? I've never been to the Potter's house. I don't really care. I'm indifferent about TD Jakes altogether. But let me tell you why I won't participate in anything where you don't have real evidence to justify or substantiate whether or not he did anything or not, right? First, nobody had nothing to say prior to them wanting to kill Puff and building up a momentum to go after Puff, right? Then Cassie kicked open the door, and then you seen all of these men and these feminine men and these crazy women going after men, okay? So now, because people didn't like TD Jakes in general because they don't necessarily care for the church. Now, again, remember, I don't know or nor do I care whether he did anything or not. But let me tell you why it's dangerous. It's because what goes for the goose is good for the gander. Now, if you accuse him of doing something without any kind of evidence, because I've seen people say, well, Anton, that doesn't mean that he didn't. What the fuck you mean it doesn't mean that he didn't do something wrong? We live in a country where we're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. You can't say that I'm guilty just because you don't have proof that I'm innocent. What the fuck is that? Right? And it's a slippery slope. So it doesn't matter whether you care for him or not. The thing about it is that the fact that anybody can be accused, especially if he's a man, of doing wrong and then be held accountable for it, even though you don't have to necessarily have evidence as a result of it, is a dangerous and slippery slope. What if it happens to you because all you need is a person or a group of people that don't fucking necessarily care for you and don't care for the lifestyle, or you take a picture with somebody that then wind up doing something egregious, right? Or they catch a video of you watching something or something. They don't necessarily have to have no evidence. All they have to do is have an accu-fucking-zation. And this is what's been happening to men for a long time. And guys are now starting to join this feminist movement, or they've been a part of this feminist movement. That's why it got legs in the first place. And so now you can accuse people of something just because you don't like them. And because a mob of people agree with you, that's supposed to mean that you're right. It's a slippery slope, man. And that's why I'm very, very careful about my words, my platform. I don't convict people in a court of public opinion. I give my opinion about the situation in general. And Jonathan Majors is the latest casualty of what's happening in our society. And if we're not careful, then it's going to really be, I'm not sure if we already at the point of no return, but it's really going to be at the point of no return. I'm curious as to what you guys think. Make sure you tap into the Q show tonight. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to have a good time. We're going to explain and talk about all of the current controversial issues and then bring it back to what it is that we talk about as far as from a relationship perspective also. But it's sad. It's very, very sad. I love you. I appreciate you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm out.